Now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, Ken, thanks very much. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call right here on the Bordas to Bordas hotline. Bob Pompeani, Paul Zeise with you tonight. It's Open Phone Friday, to borrow a term from Cook and Pony. It is Open Phone every night of the week here. We take your calls until 11 o'clock at 412-575-2600. You can also tweet us tonight at KDPomp, at Paul Zeise. And we'll begin by the Pirates losing today. They've lost 6 series in a row. It's going to be 7 the way things are going. They dropped a 3-1 decision. They scored 18 runs in their last 2 games. Paul Zeise of the Post-Gazette, 93.7 The Fan. But today only 1 run. It came in the first inning, a sac fly, and that was it. It's been feast or famine with some of these offenses. The same thing with the pitching staff, and they can't put it together now. They're 1 game under 500. And, you know, at one time 9 over, they faced a pretty favorable schedule, and they couldn't get it done. And that, to me, is the turning point of the season.
I wonder if all those people that said I was negative because I said their hot start was in part helped out by their schedule they played.
I said the same thing. It was the softest
and I had
schedule.
I had people calling my show saying you're negative Nancy, and it's like, no, it's a fact. I mean, you know, that helped them. And that doesn't mean that they're not, you know, that they weren't better than those teams. But you had to believe they were going to come back down to earth because the schedule got a lot tougher. Now, are they going to be this bad the rest of the year? No, I don't think they are. It's 162 games doesn't lie. That's what people don't seem to understand about baseball. You have any flaws at all, if you've had any weaknesses at all, if you got anything in your game that isn't, you know, up to where it needs to be at, over 162 games, it's going to be exposed. So, you know, I said at the start, it's probably a 78, 79, maybe an 81, 82 wins team, and that's probably what they are, somewhere in that just 500 range.
I said 75, 87. I said 4th place, and I think that's pretty much what
I think they'll be 4th place, there's no question. But
I mean, that division is too good. They have too many good teams with better talent, and over the course of 162, as Paul said, better talent will prevail. All right, last night the Washington Capitals won their first ever Stanley Cup. I know a lot of Pittsburgh people I talked to today were kind of upset about it, but to me, I wasn't bothered by it at all. In fact, I respect what they did. That was a physical team that played and grinded out wins. They lost early on in every series they played. They had to come from behind in every series, just like the Penguins of the 1990s when they first won. To me, I give Ovechkin a lot of credit. And I don't know about you, Paul, but to me, I look at it and say, kudos to them. They did what they had to do. It stays in the Metropolitan Division, but they deserved it. They did what they had to do, and I thought when they got the monkey off their back, which had turned into a gorilla in that the Penguins were the team out there knocking them out every single year. Once they got through that series, I thought it was a green light the rest of the way.
I sort of felt the same way as when the Colts won the Super Bowl and Peyton Manning got his first Super Bowl trophy.
Yes.
You got an all-time great player, and maybe, you know, I'm different than most, but I think, you know, I hate when people use the whole, well, he doesn't have a ring thing, you know, to try and say this guy isn't. Now, especially
in a team sport like
right,
this.
Now you look at a guy like Alex Ovechkin, it probably changes his resume a little bit even, you know, it changes it. But so I had no problem with him winning. To be honest, I said this on my show, Bob. I don't know how you feel, but I thought it would be completely unfair if Vegas got in their first year a parade and didn't, you know, like we here, for instance, like I said, fan bases all over the country, you know, you have to go through misery first.
You do.
You know, they have to have their Sid Bream moment. They have to have their Alfred Papunu moment. They've got to have their you know, what was it, Barry Goheen moment. They've got to have those things happen. And, you know, so now they lost.
Scotty Reynolds,
right.
too.
Yeah, all those things. They need to have those things happen, experience pain. And then when they have a parade, you know, they can fully appreciate it. I mean, like you see the Capitals last night, I'll be honest, that was as excited and you know, emotional as a team that I've seen win a championship in I don't know how long.
No, and you can tell, a lot of those guys have been there. They hadn't been through this in a successful way, and finally, They get to the point where they do it, and they do it their way. And they did play some really physical, I think, over the edge at times. But, hey, that's the way it is. Sometimes you got to go there, and they did. A lot of guys went over the line, Tom Wilson specifically. Brooks Orpik gave a cheap shot away last night, but they won because they're a good team. Braden Holtby was outstanding. Kuznetsov, outstanding. But Ovechkin was going to get that. I got a lot of people say he didn't deserve it. Yes, he did. He was their main man all the way through. 15 goals is undeniable. He didn't change his play. He advanced his play to play 200 feet.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. That's it. People talked about how he didn't quite have enough of a commitment to all the little things and playing that two-way game and all that stuff. And that's maybe why this team fell short a couple of times. This year he did. I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take your calls now, 412-575-2600. And also later on the show, we're going to feature another Roos Chris Sislin shot with a high five to some local golfers who made a hole-in-one. I have a very familiar name with you who made one this week. The Sizzling Shot is brought to you by Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, 6 PPG Place downtown, home of the Sizzling State, done right. We'll be back with that and more right after this on Pittsburgh CW.